of Change News.
This is Voice of Change Radio News with Amanda Kumalo. Thank you for joining us. A look at the leading stories. Tugwi Mukosi fishery transform lives. In business news, sanctions increase cost of doing business. In regional and international news, Somalia kills Al-Shabaab co-founder. In sports, Matabeleland Warriors win all tournament. The news in detail. Female ex-freedom fighters have showered praises on late national hero Comrade Haiten Nkomo, describing him as a true revolutionary who transformed little girls into fearless soldiers with skills that go beyond the battlefield. The veteran struggle stalwart, commonly known as Billy Mzamo, was the first commander of the Mukushi women's camp in Zambia and died 2 weeks ago, aged 70, at his rural home in Bengo, Gwanda, Matabeleland South. Comrade Nkomo was buried today at the National Heroes Acre in Harare. Bulawayo has started work on ensuring that when adequate water supply arrives by pipeline from Lake Gwaishangani around the end of next year, there will be necessary extra water treatment and distribution ready and waiting. The expanded infrastructure will enhance feeding of water from Magwegwe Reservoir into Criterion Water Treatment Works, which will enhance distribution of treated water to critical areas across the city. Criterion Water Treatment Works is the nervous center of the city's water treatment and distribution. The new dispensation led by President Mnangagwa is spearheading the construction of the Gwaishangani Dam and pipeline, first mooted in 1912, but which had failed to take off under previous successive administrations. 17 cooperatives drawn from communities around Lake Tugwi Mukosi in Chivi and Masvingo districts have already been licensed for commercial fishing on Zimbabwe's largest interior lake. The resulting lake has become a mainstay of the Provincial Command Fisheries Program, which is being replicated in other parts of Masvingo as the government moves to boost incomes and nutrition in line with Vision 2030. The cooperatives licensed to fish at the dam are drawn from Masvingo and Chiwi, which share the water body that covers the border area between the two districts. In business news, business people have said illegal sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe by the West hamper the free movement of funds across international borders and therefore can raise the cost of doing business or at least make investors worry about the cost. Zimbabwe has been grappling with sanctions imposed by the West in 2001 in retaliation of the land reform program that sought to correct colonial land ownership imbalances. The country would have moved forward faster without these financial sanctions and been able to have access to multilateral finance, while the private sector would have had access to more banking finance. In an interview, Zimbabwe National Chamber of Commerce Chief Executive Mr. Takunda Mugaga said sanctions affect investor appetite, as some of them fear an extra cost of doing business. In regional and international news, Somalia's government said that it killed Nadei, one of the co-founders of Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab, in an operation with international partners. Somali security forces have touted gains made in recent weeks against the Al-Qaeda-linked group while fighting alongside local self-defense groups, but Al-Shabaab has continued to conduct deadly raids, including 2 last Friday that killed at least 16 people. Somalia's information ministry said in a statement that the operation that killed Nadei happened on Saturday. It said he was Al-Shabaab's chief prosecutor and was in line to replace the group's leader, Ahmed Dirie, who is sick. Moving on to sports news. Rugby giants Matabeleland Warriors dominated the Bulawayo Ten-a-side rugby tournament round 1 played on Saturday at Harsfield Rugby Grounds after winning all the games. In the first match, the Reuben Kempis-coached Warriors overcame Highlanders 12-7 before thumping Bulldogs 24-0 to make it to 2 out of 2 wins. That ends this news bulletin.
Voice of Change News.